Hi there, it's Molly from Pixology, and I'm sitting here at home. It's day 3 of the coronavirus shutdown, and hopefully in 3 months or a year from now, if you're watching this, things have settled down. So I was thinking you might have some time on your hands to learn a little bit more about your Mac. These are Apple computers, and people rave about having them. And I actually remember when I got my first MacBook Pro, it was 2011, maybe 2012. And I was a really good PC user, and I got the Mac because I thought this is going to really help me manage my photos better. I was going to be able to use different types of software and try it out. And I don't know, 6 months went by and I really wanted to drop kick it, get it out of my life. I just thought it was so hard to use. Then I thought, all right, I'm doing something wrong, trying to just click things here and there and see what works, instead of really studying it and figuring the secrets out. So I've got 5 tips for you here today, and we'll see if these help you. I am going to share my screen in a couple of places, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Hold on while I share my screen, and here it comes. All right, so we're looking at the desktop of my MacBook Pro, and I just have 2 documents up here, which is a slight miracle. Sometimes I have like 50 and they're all layered on top of each other. So try to keep your desktop clean. The first thing we're gonna do is go up, take your mouse and go up to the menu and click on the Apple. And we're gonna click on About This Mac. All right. Here we are, my computer, which apparently was constructed in 2017. I bought it in 2018, so that seems a little odd to me, but you can find out the actual date your computer was produced. And honestly, if it's 2012, then maybe it's time to get a new one. And this is what I look at when I'm at a client's house, just to see what the age of their computer is and what operating version. So Mac OS Catalina is the most current, and if you're not sure, you can click on Software Update, and there it is. My computer automatically checks and lets me know if it has to be updated. And I strongly recommend that you do keep it updated, especially if you have an iPhone. Keeping all of that syncing and working well with iCloud, it's good to keep everything up to date. Now, with that being said, you might want to hold off if you have an older computer. Sometimes the updates slow your Mac down. All right, the next thing that we're going to go to is storage. So storage tells us a lot about what is on your computer, what's taking all the space, or maybe you haven't used hardly any of it, which is often never the case. So here this kind of tells me I've got 10 gigabytes there. My music takes up 7 gigabytes. Documents is 41. Well, that isn't very helpful. This manage button really is amazing. It will tell you much more about what's taking up space on your computer. So here, now you can see down the side here that applications, so the programs on my computer take up about 10% of my space. Documents is 87 gigabytes. My iCloud drive has a very small amount. Remember, megabytes, you need 1,000 megabytes to equal 1 gigabyte. I don't use mail. My messages has over a gigabyte. That's crazy. That means I've got photos stored in there and probably messages that need to be deleted from long ago. We talked about music. My photos, which this is where my day-to-day picture collection lives. And that's very low because most of my pictures, while I can see them on my computer, they're stored in iCloud. That is this option right here. And I did that because I knew I had a smaller hard drive on this computer, and that was fine. What is surprising is I've got 20 gigabytes in my trash. You can click on any one of these and see what's going on. So apparently I haven't emptied my trash in a while. And I can see, oh, I actually sang a solo in my church, and that's a very large file, 4.2 gigabytes right there. And I'm not sure what my movie is, but I can probably empty the trash. So we'll do that. In case you didn't know, you can also control click on your trash can and empty the trash that way, which I should have been doing all along, and that'll help. So now you can see my trash is gone. I will close this and go back and look. I have almost 80 gigabytes of storage free now. That's very cool. Back in that manage option, I'm going to just point out, if you click on documents, you get some choices here, and it will show you your large files. So I don't know, do I want to see what this movie is? It's 3 gigabytes almost. Oh, that was a big photo organizing video I did. So I'm probably going to need to do something with that. I'm not going to delete it right away. Those are the main things that I like about clicking on the Apple and about this Mac. This next tip involves using your mouse or trackpad more efficiently. On a Mac, our mouse and trackpad is set to select items, right? So I have clicked this picture, number 168, and I'm going to go back and click the picture above it. On a PC, that would be using the left button on your mouse. So I call it left click. Left click selects something. On a Mac, if you want to do something with that picture, you can hold the control key down. So I'm holding my control key down and I'm clicking again. That control click gives you a menu of options that you can work with. So control click lets me open this picture. I could open it with a different program. I can get information on it. I can rename it. I can share it. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do. And often when you select something on a Mac and you control click, you'll get a list of things that you can do with the item you've selected. All right, so for a PC girl coming in, I didn't know about control click. And in fact, a lot of my clients don't know about control click on their Macs either. So hopefully that will be useful for you. For people who've moved to a Mac from a PC, not having the right click could be devastating. At least it was for my enjoyment of using the computer. So I'm going to show you how to change that control click to be a right click. It's called a secondary click. So remember, we had to select first and then control click to get the menu. That control click is the secondary click. It's the second thing that you've done with the item you're working with. We are gonna go into system preferences. So click on your launch pad. Your launch pad is where all of your programs should be able to be found. Now, what I did notice is when I updated to Catalina, it pushed some of my programs to the third page here. So I'm just swiping, and hopefully you can see down at the bottom, I have 3 pages of apps. So system preferences, let's click on that. We right now are just gonna look at the trackpad, all right? And I'm in the point and click tab. And you know, so I'm gonna be honest, when these people who make these computers give us all these options and choices of how to press our mouses and our trackpads, they really didn't think about our capacity to take that all in and use it on a day-to-day basis. I think of it as technology has long passed or surpassed our ability to keep up with it. So I'm sorry, when I look at the trackpad options, I get overwhelmed. So let's go back and look at that again. Here we are back at the trackpad options, point and click. Now look up in data detectors. I don't think I need to know about that. I just ignore that. It's the secondary click that is my concern. Macs are, uh, they are factory installed to click or tap with two fingers. And I never could figure that out. My two fingers tapping, it just wasn't natural for me. And I wanted to right click. So click in bottom right corner fit my needs just perfectly. So if you were a PC user trying to go to a Mac, you got to go to the trackpad and select secondary click. If you're using a mouse on an iMac, go to the mouse and change it there. There are some other options that you can play around with if your mouse and your trackpad are giving you grief. But the point and click and the secondary click are the things that made my life so much better. And I actually started liking my computer again. Okay, so that was another tip I thought would be really helpful for you, is getting that right click down. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is the Finder. On Mac, the Finder is how you find your documents, find the things that you're looking for. So I've opened it up and it shows me the recents view. And I like this view because if I've forgotten what I was working on, the name of it from a few days ago, I can go in here and locate it. Then we have applications, which is all the softwares on your computer, all the apps, and desktop. Downloads is pretty obvious. You should be cleaning this out occasionally. The Finder really is how you should be able to look for items on your computer. On the left-hand side, this is your sidebar. And I've got a variety of things. What's nice is you can click on these items. I'm going to click on it and move it so that it's alphabetical. I do kind of like things alphabetical, and I've gotten out of habit here apparently. So you can move things around so that it makes sense to you. The other thing is you might have some items on here that you don't even know what they're for. So we can change that by going up to the Finder Preferences. And in the Preferences, you can click on the sidebar and select the things that you want to appear and unselect the things you don't want. So right now you can see those check marks. I've unchecked music because I have the iTunes app right on my dock down below. So I don't really need to have that taking up room. The location sometimes is handy. So if I put an external hard drive, if I connect that to my computer, that will show up in this area. Bonjour computers, I wish I knew what that was. And one of these days I'll look it up and I'll actually remember it and maybe let you know. So with the Finder Preferences, we're just focusing on the sidebar now so that your sidebar makes sense to you and you like it. Now, what happens if you want to add a folder on here that wasn't in those choices? Well, let me go to my Documents folder. And let's see, InDesign projects. I do a fair amount of work with InDesign. I can just drag it over there and alphabetically just drop it in. And if I don't want it anymore, I can right click it or control click, and I can say remove from sidebar. All right, so if there's something that you don't want to be on the sidebar, you can control click or right click, as I like to do, and remove from sidebar. Next up in the Finder, we're going to look at how you view the items in your folders. As I click through these, you can see I've got different views, and it's really kind of irritating. I wish when you selected one view, it would stay the same in all the folders, but whatever arrangement that you selected in the folder, it will stay that way until you come back. So I'll go to Pictures. So my view right now is icons, and it's sorted by kind. And how you change that is right on these little buttons above your files. So you can look at your files as icons, a list, in columns, And the columns view is nice because you can look at items in subfolders. And then there's the gallery view, which allows you to look at one item. On the right-hand side, you get the details about that item. So this was a photo I took at a street fair last year that we were demonstrating pickleball with. What's cool in the galleries view is you can now crop pictures. In the past, like before last year's Apple updates, you couldn't crop pictures unless you were in the Photos app. And click on markup on the right side. So I'll click markup, and now I'm going to crop this street festival picture that I was helping at, and get it right to the stage where the center of the action is. So I click crop, and then I say done. And now I have cropped my photo and it's set to go. I'll close it. And now I've got this nice closer up view of the stage. So that gallery view allows you to rotate pictures as well. Before, you couldn't even rotate pictures. So with the markup and rotate, that's very cool. I'll just click on more. Well, you could create a PDF, but most people don't need to do that with the picture. Let's go back to the icon view. I pointed out this area here where you can click backwards into your folders. And if you don't see this on your Finder screen, you can go up to View in your Finder menu, and then you want the path bar to show it. So click Show Path Bar and click Show Status Bar. The status bar tells you how many items are in there, how many are selected, and how much space you have left on your computer. I love having that information right at my fingertips. We want to talk about how can you sort your folders and files. That happens in this little box with the 6 squares and 2 lines. You click on it, and then you can see different ways to sort the items in your folder. So if you click on name, now they're organized alphabetically. And if you click on kind, they're organized by kind. So we're in the downloads folder, and I have it sorted by the kind. We're gonna sort by date added because I want to see what I added today or yesterday. The point is you can sort your folders any way that makes sense to you. Just remember these 5 boxes at the top. The other thing that is handy is, let's go to our Easter photos here. And it's really not very fun to look at these pictures, is it? They're small. So down on the bar here, you can make the pictures bigger. Sometimes it makes your pictures go off to the right. And if you right click or control click, get some options, and then clean up by whatever you want to clean it up, but clean up by name. And now the pictures, will make sense as you scroll down. So don't forget about changing the size of your icons. That's kind of a neat feature and easy to use. So the last thing I'll point out is the search bar. This can be useful if you have forgotten where you saved something and you didn't work on it recently. I'll just click on documents, and I'm going to type in packages. I know I had a document about packages. Now it's showing me every document that had the word in it. On my Mac, I'm going to click on documents to narrow it down. And here I have a listing of everything that has packages in it. And it's sorted by documents and spreadsheets and PDF documents. So that made it easy. This photo estate packages was the item I was thinking of, and there it is. If this was organized by name, it'd be kind of harder to look at. So in this instance, sorting by kind really helps me figure out, am I looking at Word documents, a PDF, or a spreadsheet? All right, that's our 5 tips for using your Mac today. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll try to respond to them. Please hit subscribe, that helps us. And take care and stay well.